Hey y'all, it's your boyfriend Brandon, aka Beamer, and today we're talking about DEI and its impact. Let's go get 'em. Alright, y'all, so I'm going to explain the actual government definition of what DEI stands for. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Initiatives are organizational frameworks aimed at promoting fair treatment and full participation of all individuals, especially those from historically underrepresented or marginalized groups. These initiatives focus on fostering diverse workforces, ensuring equitable opportunities, and creating inclusive environments where individual feels valued and respected. Okay, that's the actual definition. So that sounds great and dandy, but I feel like most Americans feel like that sounds like, black people. All right, but let's talk about who it actually benefits. It benefits a wide range of individuals, including racial and ethnic minorities. That means blacks, Latino community, Hispanic community, Asian community, South Asian community, so on and so forth. Anything that is not your white European descent. Women, it helps close those gender gaps, especially in leadership positions. LGBTQ individuals and people with disabilities. And I'm going to add on that it also helps with veterans. So think about any time that we fill out an application, especially a job application, it asks you, what is your race? It asks you if you have any disabilities, and it asks, are you a veteran? That's where the DEI initiatives come from, y'all. It's not just, oh, here's a fun game, I just kind of want to know your race. No, it's to help make sure that people actually see your application based on, one, your merits, but hey, we're realizing we don't have enough diversity. So we need to make sure that we are hitting these points here. Now, with the recent discontinuing, we've had a lot of companies that actually decided to disband from the DEI initiatives. The notable ones are Google. Google abandoned its goal to increase underrepresented leadership by 30%. Target ended its belonging at the bullseye strategy. Meta, formerly known as Facebook, dismissed all its DEI programs. Amazon halted unspecified DEI efforts. McDonald's retired its diversity goals. And then you have Walmart, Ford, Lowe's, Harley Davidson, Brown-Forman, John Deere, and Tractor Supply. And they have either scaled back or abandoned various DEI initiatives. And that includes like even diversity training and supplier diversity goals. So they're not even adding companies to help contribute to the workload. So they're not like buying tires or metals from an Asian company or from a Hispanic Latin company. They're doing everything mostly in-house, and they're not going to give and take on that anymore. So right now, we don't have an exact number of how many companies are discontinuing their DEI initiatives and or how many employees are affected. However, because of this impacts so many people, right? Think about how many companies have a DEI sector. You're talking about at least maybe 10 to 30 people per company. So when you add that all up, now we have a huge gap within the job market. And where are they going to get jobs now, especially if that was their main focus? Now, I guess they could technically go to HR, but what section? And right now, we don't have any really new positions that are opening up for people, especially with the rise of AI. It's actually alleviating some of the groundwork that was needed in previous years. But now in 2025, we don't need people to always be in the office. We don't need them to type in every single thing. We have devices and technology that will advance us quicker. So what are the potential harms for America? Decreased representation. right? Without these DEI programs, there may be fewer opportunities for underrepresented groups, especially in leadership positions. Erosion of inclusive culture. Now, the absence of DEI efforts can lead to the workplace that are less welcoming to diverse employees, potentially increasing feelings of isolation or discrimination. So without targeted initiative, systemic inequities may persist or worsen, affecting access to opportunities and resources for marginalized groups. Now, are there any benefits from this? Well, we get to focus more on merit-based advancement. So that means it's emphasizing individual performance without the consideration of demographic factors, right? So now, without highlighting, hey, this person is of Latino descent, right, or South Asian descent, they clearly have more experience than this other person who we do not know their race or anything like that. So they're going to go at the top of the pile. We're going to interview them first, right? That kind of helps. The problem with that is that now we're still going off of people's names, last names, anything like that. So we kind of have to do all the work that we tried to unlearn and unpack. We're having to do this whole disguising and assimilation thing again on the back end for people that's applying for the jobs, right? Because if their name sounds anything other than American, you will clearly know that this person is not white. This person might have a lot of experience, but who is actually making sure that the checks and balances are matching up? That's what that leads to. The second thing that it's also helping with is cost savings for a lot of companies. It's reducing associated costs within the DEI programming and related training. So that means it's putting more money back into the company, which means they can increase pay overall for most of their employees. The last thing is that it simplifies the process. So now it's a streamlined hiring process, and it promotes positive practices by removing the DEI related criteria. So because I like to look at things on the bright side, what does that mean? Right? So it's definitely going to have drawbacks, but it integrates inclusion organically. So let's say that everything goes swell and dandy on the back end. They put the people that have the best merits and the most experience at the top, right? We're automatically going to see an increase of inclusion, supposedly, right? Because as we know, people of color or anybody that's part of a marginalized group, we work 10 times as hard as our regular counterparts because we know that we have something different about us, right? Something that is not considered the norm. It's suggested that it will integrate inclusion organically. And the other thing is giving us insight on who is courageous enough to have personal accountability, right? So this will motivate individuals to take personal responsibility for promoting diversity and inclusion in their daily interactions. So let's talk about people not being, I won't even say racist, but even having microaggressions. And a microaggression is even looking at somebody's name and being like, oh, I don't know if they're capable of doing this because they're from a marginalized group. They might not fit into our established dynamic. Now, personally, what I think, because we have a particular person in office right now, right, and they're using a lot of power very quickly, I am not too worried. I also think that the people that voted for that particular person are also now seeing the setbacks to it, because especially with the DEI initiatives and how many people it's affecting, we're not even talking about the whole situation happening with ICE and so on and so forth, because this channel is not a political channel. This channel is not even technically an educational channel, but I do want to hit on educational aspects because I feel like a lot of people don't know. And also, it's teaching me as well. This is not just, oh, hey, I know what I'm talking about. No, this is like, hey, I have a thought. I'm pretty sure it affects these type of people. I feel like a lot of people are not educated enough about a particular subject. And maybe I'm not educated enough to talk about the subject, but let's do some research together, right? And so because of that, I feel like companies are going to see how hard it is to manage a company without having your DEI folk in the mix, because they have to restructure the business platform. They have to restructure the business format, right, to make this work. And also, again, if you have your hardest workers now taken out of the equation, how is that going to affect your operation? I think it's going to affect it pretty substantially, right? And we're going to start seeing the actual numbers very soon. So let me know your thoughts below. Let me know if you already knew about what DEI stand for, but I feel like a lot of people don't. And then let me know what you think is going to happen in the next coming months. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.